What's up, everybody? Welcome to this week's REI Deal Breakdown. I'm your host, Greg Helbeck, and if you're not familiar with me, I have done well over 150 fix and flips, wholesales, and rental properties combined in my 8-year career as a real estate investor. And the goal of this podcast or YouTube video, depending on where you're watching it, is to share the lessons I've learned with you, with my audience, so you can take these lessons whether you're new or where you're established, and use these lessons and these deals so you can have success in your own business for yourself and your team. So today I'm going to talk about a rental property that I bought, 13 Linden Trail in Monroe, New York. Actually happens to be the hometown that I'm from, about 15 minutes away from where I grew up, but same town, same zip code. So I'll tell you how I found the deal. I found the deal through pay-per-click marketing. So the seller filled out a form on our website, simplefasthomeoffer.com, if you wanted to check that out. And he wanted to sell his property in Monroe. He was living there by himself. His goal was to move to Texas within a month. And he did not want to list the house for sale. He wanted to sell it quickly. He wanted certainty. He wanted speed. He wanted convenience. And because of that, he took a discounted cash offer. So I believe I offered him $140,000 for the property. The house as is, and it didn't need any work. It was literally in pristine condition. He got all the permits and COs all worked out. It was worth $245,000 as is. So I got that house with a $105,000 discount, which is phenomenal. And I certainly could have bought that house and flipped it and made probably $50,000 when it was all said and done. But I decided this is a good property to keep on as a rental. It's in a good area. It's in an up and coming neighborhood that's getting more desirable by the year. I said, I'm going to do this deal and I'm going to do the BRRRR strategy. So what I did was I actually borrowed $160,000 worth of private money. So if you followed the math there, I bought the house for $140,000. So I owed the seller $140,000 and I ended up borrowing $160,000. So I borrowed more than what the purchase price was. So that covered my closing costs, that covered paying for my team. That actually put a profit in my pocket, almost like a little wholesale fee in my pocket. And it also paid for a junk removal service we had to do to get the bed out of the property. There was a mattress there he left. So I had no money in this deal whatsoever, like not a single penny. And the goal of this property is once I closed, I wanted to get a rate and term refinance as soon as possible. So I went and I was actually applying for rate and term refi loans before I even bought this house. And my buddy Pat Gibson gave me a rate and term refi loan. I believe we did it at $170,000 or $180,000 because I wanted to make the rate and term refi loan cover all of my closing costs on the refinance. So I had to come out of pocket with $0. I wanted to truly do this deal with, as they say on the late night infomercials, no money down. So once I got that refi loan to the finish line, I closed on the refi loan. I paid the private investor back with his interest. I had absolutely not a penny. I don't have a penny of my money in this deal, and got appraised for $245,000 like we expected. And I ended up throwing a renter in this property, and I have a renter in there right now that I got through a leasing agent. And that renter pays me $2,000 a month to live inside of this property. I believe the refi loan is I think it's $180,000 actually. I think it's a $180,000 loan. So I owe $180,000 on the property. It's worth $245,000, maybe even $250,000 at this point. So I have a good amount of equity in this property. The property does make a cash flow. It makes about $120 a month of net positive cash flow after all the bills are paid. I don't have to worry about water. It's on a well. I don't have to worry about sewer. It's on a septic. Tenants pretty much do their own thing there. I've never actually met them. I have no idea what they even look like. I'm sure they're nice people because they're paying my rent. I saw the rent come in today as of this recording. And that property was bought and refinanced and held with $0 out of pocket. So what are some lessons that you can take from this? The first lesson is that when you flip enough houses and wholesale enough houses and you can build up a business and a little bit of a nest egg, it does make sense at that point to start buying rental properties. I wouldn't start doing this if you're brand spanking new because you want to get some money in the bank to get established to then go out and do this. So that's lesson number one. Lesson number two, when you get good deals like this, because these things don't come around every day of the week, at least for us, you got to have the discipline to keep these properties because this property over time is going to continue to go up. I'm going to continue to pay the mortgage down. The rent's going to continue to go up. So every year I own this property, it's going to ultimately make more money from a cash flow standpoint, and it's going to make more wealth from an equity standpoint. And I'm also going to be able to cost segregate this property and get a lot of depreciation up front so I can pay less in taxes legally. So that's 13 Linden Trail in Monroe. Hopefully you got value from this. If you did and you have a deal for me, you want to wholesale and you're living in Reno, Nevada, San Diego, California, the state of Delaware, or the Hudson Valley of New York, send me your deals, greg@velocityhousebuyers.com, or if you want to just JV a wholesale deal together. And also, if you can leave me a review on iTunes or wherever you watch this podcast, or like my YouTube video and subscribe to my channel if you're watching online, it would mean a lot to me. And I'll see you on the next REI Deal Breakdown.